you all to this offline English class.
In English. Now, I'm going to show you two stanzas of a poem. Please look at these two stanzas and find out the rhyming words. The cock is crowing, the stream is flowing, the small birds twitter, the lake doth glitter. The oldest and the youngest are at work with the strongest. The cattle are grazing, their heads never raising. I hope you remember this poem. You had it last year. Okay, let's find out the rhyming words. The rhyming words are crowing, flowing, twitter, glitter, youngest, strongest, grazing, raising. Students, did you notice here there are two stanzas? Can you assume 14 lines in one stanza? Yes, if you see 14 lines in a poem, it is known as sonnet. Dear students, in today's session we are going to learn the poem Sonnet written by Toru Dutt. Here is the introduction of Toru Dutt. She was born on March 4, 1856 in Kolkata. She was a Bengali translator and poet from the Indian subcontinent who wrote in English and French. She was died on August 30, 1877 in Kolkata. Dear students, please open your English textbook. I hope you all have opened your textbook. Do you have a park in your town? Has it trees, plants and bushes or more spaces given to your lawns? What do you think a park must have? Trees or lawns? Which looks more beautiful? Why? Do you know what is lawn? Lawn means grassland. You can see this on the screen. In this picture you can see trees in the park. And in this picture you can see a grassland. What do you think a park must have? Trees or lawns? Yes, a park must have both trees as well as lawns. You can see in this picture how people are utilizing lawns as well as trees. Dear students, please look at your textbook. I am going to read the poem Sonnet. Please listen carefully. A sea of foliage girds our garden round, but not a sea of dull unvaried green. Sharp contrasts of all colours here are seen. The light green, graceful tamarinds abound, amid the mango clumps of green profound, and palms arise like pillars grey between, and over the quiet pools the seamers lean, red and startling like a trumpet sound. But nothing can be lovelier than the ranges of bamboos to the eastward, when the moon looks through their gaps and the white lotus changes into a cup of silver. One might swoon, drunken with beauty then, or gaze and gaze on a primeval Eden in amaze. Written by Toru Dutt. Students, in this poem, Toru Dutt describes the beauty of the garden around her bungalow. A sea of foliage girds our garden round. In the first line, the poetess tells us that her garden appeared like a sea of foliage, means as vast as the sea. Foliage means leaves. Sea of foliage means as vast as the sea. You can see on the screen, the sea is vast. Vast means huge. Similarly, the poetess says her garden is also vast, means huge. A sea of foliage. Here, the poetess compares the huge sea to the foliage in her garden. Here there is a comparison, but without the help of like or as. This figure of speech is known as metaphor. Second line, but not a sea of dull unvaried green. Here, the poetess says that her garden does not have the same color like a sea. Here, the poetess says that the color of the sea is green. Once again, there is a comparison without the use of like or as. Students, can you tell me which figure of speech? Yes, metaphor. Very good, students. Third line, sharp contrasts of all colors here are seen. One could see sharp contrast of all colors in her garden. Students, you can see how she describes her garden in different colors in this picture. Fourth and fifth line. The light green graceful tamarinds abound amid the mango clumps of green profound. Here, the poetess describes the colors. The color of the tamarind is light green and the color of the mango is deep green. The meaning of the word profound is deep. Here, there are light green of tamarinds which grow among the deep green mango clumps. You can see this picture on the screen. The light green tamarind and the deep green mango. Sixth line. And palms arise like pillars grey between. Palm means palm tree. You can see the picture of palm tree on the screen. The poetess says, palm trees arise in between the tamarind and mango trees, which looks like grey pillars. Here there is a comparison. The poetess compares the palm trees to the grey pillars. Can you tell me, students, which figure of speech? Exactly, it is simile. The poetess compares two things with the help of like. Excellent, students. Here, the poetess says the palm tree is like a pillar. Do you know, students, what is a pillar? You can see the picture of pillar on the screen. Pillar is a tall vertical structure of stone, wood or metal used as a support for a building or an ornament or monument. Seventh line. And over the quiet pools the seamals lean. You can see the picture of seamal tree on the screen. Here, the seamal trees leaned over the quiet pools. This shows that the poetess has a pool in her garden. Quiet pools. Here, the poetess says the pool which she had in her garden was so quiet. Again, there is a comparison without using like or as. Which figure of speech? Yes, metaphor. Eighth line. Red, red and startling like a trumpet sound. Here, red is the color of seamal flowers. When the wind blows, the seamal flowers make noise. The poetess is comparing this to the trumpet sound. Do you know, students, what is trumpet? Trumpet is a musical instrument. You can see the picture of trumpet as well as the picture of seamal flowers on the screen. Here, the poetess compares the sound of seamal flowers to the sound of trumpet with the help of like. Can you tell me, students, which figure of speech? Exactly, it is simile. Students, now please look at line number 9 to 12. But nothing can be lovelier than the ranges of bamboos to the eastward when the moon looks through their gaps and the white lotus changes into a cup of silver, one might swoon. Here, the poetess says the loveliest scene in her garden is the lines of bamboos growing towards eastern side. When the moon shines through the bamboos, the white lotus looks like a silver cup. This scene is so enchanting that one might swoon. Swoon means faint, especially from extreme emotion. By using the word swoon, the poetess says how wonderful her garden is. Here, the poetess compares white lotus to a cup of silver. The figure of speech is simile. Students, please look at last two lines. Drunken with beauty then, or gaze and gaze on a primeval Eden in amaze. Here, the poetess says that her garden is so enchanting that one should come there to gaze at her garden again and again. And in the last line, the garden of the poetess looks like the Garden of Eden, the first garden created by God for Adam and Eve. According to the poetess, Eden is the most beautiful garden on earth, created for the first human beings of the earth, Adam and Eve. Students, you can see here how beautifully Torudat describes her garden. You can see series of bamboos here. When the moon looks through their gaps, the white lotus changes into a cup of silver. So, we have completed the poem Sonnet written by Torudat. Here we got 6 new words: lawn, foliage, profound, clump, swoon, amaze. Lawn means grassland. Foliage means leaves, especially growing leaves all the leaves on a particular plant or tree. Profound is deep. Clump means a group of tree, plant, bushes, etc. growing together. Swoon means faint, especially from extreme emotion. Amaze means great wonder. Also we got two figures of speech, simile, metaphor. Simile is a figure of speech that directly compares two things by using like or as. Metaphor is a figure of speech which makes hidden comparison between two things, not using the word like or as. It directly refers to one thing by mentioning another. We got three similes in the poem Sonnet. First one, and palms arise like pillars grey. Second one, red and startling like a trumpet sound. Third one, lotus looks like a silver cup. We got three metaphors in the poem Sonnet. First one, sea of foliage. Second one, sea of dull unvaried green. Third one, quiet pools. Students, now I am going to ask you a few questions. You have to answer it. Your first question is, who wrote the poem Sonnet? Yes, the poem Sonnet is written by Torudutt. Very good, students. Your second question is, what grey pillars arise between the mango and the tamarind trees? The answer is, grey pillars are referred to palms which grows in between the fresh bunches of tamarind trees and mango trees. Your third question is, what is the meaning of the word profound? Yes, profound means deep. Excellent, students. Students, I am going to end up this session. In today's session, we have understood how Torudutt beautifully describes her garden with the help of two figures of speech, simile and metaphor. Your home assignment is, you have to read the full poem twice with right pronunciation. Also, study the notes. I hope you all have enjoyed this session. See you in the next session with new lesson. Bye for now. Thank you.